Hello everyone, welcome to another stream. You're probably wondering, where's the camera? Well, hold on a sec. Yeah. Ooh. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. If you are not subscribed already, you don't have to subscribe, but if you feel like it, I'll be thankful. Um, I was talking to my dad early a while ago before he went out to. He's basically going to the nursing home to check up and spend time with my mom. Um, I have three friends who went through something similar with their either grandma, and so I just want to say a little bit of expressions before I start the Let's Play. I know people are thinking, oh man, here comes the lecture, right? I have multiple disabilities. The only disability that I don't have too much of is like slight autism. And so I want to let you guys know a story. And in order to do so, I'll lower the music to 0, but I'll keep the character's voice acting up. So I'm gonna remove the sound effect. Maybe I'll put it at this much volume for the music. I mean, and I'll put it for 2 for the sound effects. But even if you have multiple disabilities and only slight autism, and even full autism, I've seen a girl on the news. Hold on. I've seen a young teenage girl who is born with full autism, but can also socialize so easily. And of course, she was studying to become part of, I believe, the secretary or something, or lawyer. Yeah, I think it was a lawyer. And she was Spanish, okay, guys? And I think to myself of the things I've went through since I was like 10, 11, or 12 years old. And the reason why I'm bringing this in this stream before I start the Let's Play entirely is, yeah, I know to extent. And you know, if I see a person expression, if they look pissed or sad, let me just tell you this. I used to go to my uncle's house back in the day when he was still in this life. And her and his wife. Okay, his wife, my Mama Cola. And let me just tell you, it's quite an emotional roller coaster if you guys hear what I'm gonna say. And I learn little by little to see the world when they show it on TV, or when you look at a map, right, and going around that area in the map, in the news, you start learning things even if you have slow learning. Because the things that I learn about slow learning, just because I have other multiple disabilities, sometimes, if people here aren't aware of what I'm about to bring up, And some of you people may be like, oh, big deal. Because you probably support this guy of an asshole of a president. Um, but I know a lot of people are against what he's trying to put, you know. And I wanted to let you know, everyone who watches when this stream gets uploaded, when I start the Let's Play, because letting you guys know this is going to be a long Let's Play, because after I explain what I need to share with you guys that I started to pick up, is like, if you're a kid, and this is something I wasn't aware of that I didn't know about. So when you're a little kid, and my dad has been trying to explain this to me, but I was still a kid, so he told me, you'll understand when you get to that point, when you're like in your teenage days, when you're close to your 20s, and so on, so on. So, my dad, we both sometimes argue. I argue with him, yes. Do I admit I got overboard, carried away? Of course, and that's why I apologize, because I don't really mean to make him feel bad. It's just when I'm trying to explain something to him that what I go through is somewhat similar to what he goes through. And one of my other sisters, who is not living here, she lives somewhere else. Do I understand somewhat of how she feels? Of course. Because when you're a family, and if you had one parent, like a mother or a father, it could be one of the two. See, my mom, and let me take one side off of my ear. When you pay attention to what's going around, but you're not aware of what's really happening, and you meet someone, either it could be in person or on a game system or on YouTube stream, whatever. There are people that you can meet on a live stream that will actually understand what's going on with your one parent. So, that friend of mine's that taught me what the symptoms was and what it was, because even though he's not a doctor, he has a grandma. I think it was his grandma. No, it was his wife's mother, and he told me from his experience with that situation. And so there was this time and point where I wasn't aware of why my mom temper tantrum if she didn't get the food she wanted. And yeah, of course I argued with my mom, but I shouted at her a few times. But that's because the way I handle things, I don't know how to handle things like other people, because I have multiple disabilities. Some of you people may be thinking, well, that's no excuse. But here's my honest thoughts on the things I wasn't aware of, the things I caused that I didn't meant to cause, because I was still a little kid. I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I was a young 10 or 11-year-old kid, a child, there were triggers that I would have non-stop regardless. And so I was yelling at my mom without realizing I was even yelling at her. I didn't know the meaning yell. Okay, I didn't know the meaning. Sorry, but I knew that what I had caused me to do things that I didn't meant to do. Okay, I would shout. And when I was young, when I was like 16, 15, or 17 years old, I know I said 15 way too late, but when I was around those three age, 15, 16, and 17 years old, at that time, I used to challenge anyone. I used to try and fight anyone, like if it was in my school or if it was against my dad. I felt bad. When I used to went to my uncle's house because he used to be around here, is I call him Tio Cano because that's how we Spanish people folk call our uncles in Spanish, Tio. Tio, of course, if some of you people are just knowing only English or know a certain language that you're familiar with, not what I'm familiar with. I had a rough time. Like everybody else in this world who goes through a rough time, it's like that sadness. That when I shouted at my mom before she even had issues completely. Of course, I admit it. Now I'm aware of what I caused. That somewhat gives me regrets. And I didn't know that I caused my mom to collapse through a stroke. And I wasn't aware if it was a stroke or not. I thought she was just playing around. I thought she was just fooling with me. But when I heard her say nervous and that she said she was gonna she felt like she was gonna have a stroke, I didn't take that seriously enough. I was a little kid. And little by little, day by day, year by year, trust me, guys, this is the 35th year of me being around. So, meaning, I just want to let you guys know my birthday because, you as my viewers, you deserve to know a little bit more about me and how old I am and some of what I go through. I want to let all the people that somewhat support this channel, even though it's not a lot of, if this video can convince people that the way I know things, I know that I'm not no mind reader, okay? But when I hear an expression, the sadness expression, I made two, three, four good friends. One man who is Spanish, and he knows what this asshole of a president is trying to do. He knows there's a chance he might not get taken out of presidency, that one guy. Do I want to mention his name? Should I say it? Trump. See, there's a lot of toxicity due to politics. And because people have different opinions, that's what we were created to have, our own opinions, our own freedom to express our mind, our own freedom to vote for who we think is best, right? And so I remember listening to Ted Cruz talking, and that's when, all these Republicans will follow the guy who they put as president. Some of them will try to get away from the issue that he's causing that they weren't aware of. Some of them were, some of them weren't. And there's a lot of people in this world which their opinion, which I'm going to let you know, is a lot of things that I don't agree with their opinions. You'll find people who you have no agreements with any of their opinions, and they'll only have one agreement with your opinion. So, like me who plays games, I used to have a friend called Nuts and PlayStation. I called him Natsu Dragni. Okay? That name that he put there, I realized he's an anime person, you know? When I saw and heard that he told me that he was trying to use Natsu Dragneel, and he was like, oh, that name was already taken, so he decided to take a little inspiration, you know? But the thing is, at first, I didn't even mention anything political wise. I mentioned something somewhat due to politics, but I wasn't explaining fully political things until afterwards. Okay, all I mentioned was prices are going up where I'm at. And so the way he responded is he didn't talk about how how pricey stuff it was where he's at. Instead, he brought a political thing. And we had no agreements. No, we didn't have no opinions the same when it came to like presidential things, like political wise. Because as soon as I mentioned how taxes are doing here, that I told them that I might not be able to afford things in the future either. Because a lot of my close family, a lot of the family I'm close to, in that timeline where I'm still around, but I'd be an old man, that there'll be times where that moment where I can't really get a job, and if my sisters and other old generation family members, when they're not around, let me just scratch my, hold on. Sorry guys, I have a little itch. It's not tears, it's just itch. I don't know why. So hey my dude, welcome to the stream. I'm gonna be starting the Let's Play soon. This stream will be as long as I'm gonna make this as long as a Let's Play as I can. But I just wanna explain in the stream before it ends up, whenever after I do the Let's Play continuously with this stream and start playing, when it gets uploaded to the channel, I just want to say that I'm no mind reader. Nobody can read other people's minds, but they can read the people's expressions. Do I understand the issues they have to deal with? Nah, of course not. do I understand somewhat of how they feel because they go through somewhat similar that I go through? Because sometimes they have a family that they want to support to give money to support their family. Why do Hindu people and people from the countryside, why do they try to make you think that they're from a business that has something to do with either Microsoft? That I can understand somewhat, but if there's a scammer who is also Hindu but asks for gift cards and they say they work for Microsoft or something, and they say, if you want us to finish, if you want us to help you with your problems, we will need payment. And some of these Hindu scammers, because there's also American scammers. How I experience American scammers, I'll show you. You guys are gonna be like, what the heck? How does, you know, I have my phone up here, don't I? Well, I might have left it downstairs. Um, but like, well, let me put my face back in the camera. So I had a message talking about Social Security. Then you know that's a red flag, right? Sorry, I got gas. Uh, uh, much better. Um, so this one guy, his location is in Texas, okay? And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna fool around with this guy because I know he's a scammer. So I answered the call through the text, and then I'm like, hello, did you call something about my social security? And here's the things that happened. He said, yes, sir. Apparently, in order to keep your social security continuously going, we need your social security number in order to keep it continuation. And then, like, we have a friend who has her own opinion in politics, and the only time I usually mention the reasons why she goes through such a rough time, and I know it's not a good idea to do that, but that was because when I hear her while she was sitting in the chair, in the table in the dining room with my sister, and my sister does not explain anything that she is trying to mention. See, she's not like, we have a friend of the family who is not aware because she's at that age. She's supposed to have knowledge, right? She worked for the school as a teacher, and the other girl knew more than her. And so she told the girl, okay, you teach the students because you think you know so much. And then she went to her boss's office in the school, which is the principal, and she told that principal, I am no longer gonna teach. You let this young lady teach. And like they say, some next generation people, kids, teenagers, people don't understand this. Some older adults don't understand this. They don't understand that the next generation is paying attention to what happens around the city and what happens in their neighborhood and the reason why it's usually not safe. And some of these students who don't get credit for because they also know their multiplication tables. They know history because they learned it from other teachers. Okay. Do some teachers give some misleading lessons? Of course. Of course they do. Because mostly it's when. Hold on, guys. Alrighty. Let's see what I can do here. So when I sit down. Wow. So, hold on. Some adults, they're very intelligent. They know about their children. And, you know, the things our president is doing now. He's trying to get rid of Tylenol. He can't do that. He can't do any of that. Because the reason why he's trying to get rid of Tylenol is because he's forcing businesses to listen to him. Okay? The way he talked about Tylenol causing other people to get autistic, dude, Trump, you're a retard yourself. You calling all these people who are normal, who are parents who have kids with autism, and then you call them retards at the end, and then you call your voters zombies. Is that what people are considered? Hell no. um, but when I meet a friend, and I'm not mentioning politics, I'm mentioning taxes here in my area, and it could affect the whole market. I told this dude who goes by Nazi not to drag me, not drag me, drag me, because he took inspiration from the anime Fairy Tale. So, and moving forward, when I used to go to preschool, I was coloring in a picture in the lines perfectly fine. And I'm looking at this other kid. Why did I imitate him when I was already doing good and I was already getting praised? They told me, "Oh, wow, you're literally coloring in the line. That's beautiful." And so I look at this other kid and I see him scribble coloring. He's coloring all over. And believe me, guys, I took his advice instead of trying to just do what I naturally did. And so I usually get negatively triggered as a little kid. And I wasn't aware of why those triggers I did happen. And there were other young kids like me in that school. But they didn't have disabilities. And so, as I'm 18, going through my 20s, before I even reached the age I reached now, last year, and what I'm going to reach this year, in 2024, December 1st, I know you people are thinking, like, whoa, That's like 4 years back, right? No, actually, it's 3 years back. Before I even hit my 30s. Or how you say it? No, when I was already in my 30s. I would have to look up on my phone because I lose self awareness of a lot of things. And I do things that I don't mean to do. So when I was 18, the only thing I knew that I was diagnosed with was with slight autism. So I asked my dad, Dad, do I have autism? And what does autism mean? It's a disability. It's something that you're born with. Some people get autism because their their brain becomes when you as a normal person, I'm not normal, okay? In a way I am, but in a way I'm not, okay? But I think I should be considered a friend's equal, right? That we should all get along. And the mistake I made when I was in my final school, St. Martin de Porres, because in this one school way before that, and after the public school, but before the public school, I went to a school. There was a female student that I was like around the same age, close to that same age. And she's Puerto Rican, she's a Puerto Rican girl. She was like my age. And so I asked her because I just wanted to, when you're in your teenage, when you're close between childhood age and almost around the 20s, I confessed to her. I said, would you be my girlfriend? The way she stared at me like she was basically judging me by my looks. And in my head, I didn't really say it out loud. Did I get somewhat emotional because I got turned down? Of course. Did I stay crying? No. Because I know as a child or as a teenage, well, as a child you don't really know very much of anything. But when you're a teenager, you learn things that some people actually judge people by the cover of a book, okay? You don't judge someone by a cover, okay? You judge that person by his personality, not his looks. And that's something I learned the hard way, you know? Because most of these things that I learned, when you watch YouTube 24/7, you watch other people's streams, okay? And some of them are mostly just females and somewhat males. And they're VTubers, okay? I'm pretty sure some of you understand where I'm coming with this. It's like there are a lot of people that when they go to a VTuber's live stream, And when they say, "Oh, you sound hot," "Oh, you must look hot," that VTuber will tell you, don't judge a book by its cover. What is that meaning? That means you're judging her personality. You're saying her personality is cute. And she's telling you when she says, don't judge a book by by its cover. Meaning, if you saw her, or like, let's say if you saw me, but not me identical, because I'm hiding my identity behind an avatar, right? An animated avatar. And I learned this from a lot of YouTubers who are mostly VTubers, not YouTubers completely. But like when you become a VTuber, you are still considered a content creator and a YouTuber. And I looked up about chronic illnesses because, sorry, because I used to watch a video, and I remember joining a live stream on Twitch, and I saw this VTuber, Iron Mouse, and she explained what she had, which is a chronic illness, like a chronic disease. And I looked up the meaning. What is a chronic illness and how does it affect a person? What does it mean? It can be a really critical illness. And some people, because Iron Mouse explained a lot of her chronic illness, the symptoms she got from that chronic illness. And yeah, I judge a book by its cover once, but now I learn that when you're judging a book by its cover, you're judging that person for who he is and how he looks, and everything of her or him. And I learned about chronic illness. I learned a little bit of what Iron Mouse told her viewers, what she goes through her everyday life. You know, I can imagine a lot of these content creators, because there used to be Twitch streamers who were smokers to the point where they had cancer. And one of those cancers that some of these content creators usually have is they need to wear oxygen masks. And then they also explain through their not live stream. Sometimes they would do a live stream, or sometimes they'll just upload a video before they're gone from this life. That this one guy that I looked up a clip of his final moments, and he was wearing that oxygen mask. And he had cancer, you know. It don't have to be other cancers. It can be cancer in the lungs, you know. And he made this last message saying his last goodbyes, saying that he wouldn't be around anymore, and that he's finally had it. He don't want to suffer anymore. And it don't have to be just a guy, it could be females too. So there was this young female VTuber, okay, and she used to talk with another VTuber who was close to her. And letting you know, guys, this female VTuber was already dead after the whole conversation. After that one whole live stream, this guy who is a VTuber, alongside this girl who was a VTuber, and there was another VTuber who died because she had something health problems. And she was existing still at for a while. And I believe that video was it was uploaded um, early this January or like sometime last year, late last year. And this guy was a friend of hers. This young lady was from England or from Scotland. Yeah, she was definitely from Scotland because I believe that's what he said that was her culture, Scottish. And so I'm like, wow, because this guy was considered a friend of hers. I'm just putting an example for those, but like, let me tell you guys what I've learned since I was 18 that I wasn't aware of, since my 20s and I still wasn't aware of, until 2024, where I was like, what, 32 years old? 2024. I believe I was like, so let's say last year was 34 years old. That was 2025. 2024 was 33 years old. So basically, before even the time of 2024, and at the time at 2023, because if you haven't noticed, who was president after 2022? I'll just let you know it starts with a B because he actually went after Trump was impeached. But that's not the topic I should be bringing up. I'm losing awareness of what I wanted to mention. Oh, and don't worry, this is still gonna be a let's play. I'll still try to play some parts. Um, I had a lot of depression, a lot of triggers negatively, and I wasn't aware of those negative triggers. And there are still sometimes I have a lot of anxiety, overwhelming anxiety, negatively overwhelming anxiety. But like, I try to move forward. I don't want to stay in one spot and just give up. You know, there are times where I'll say, I give up. I want to just be taken away. But that's something, whenever I say that, I don't really mean it. You know, it's something that I just say out of pressure, out of triggers. And so last year and the year before last year, so around 2024, in the early December of 2024, December 1, December 1st, my mom had stuff that at first I wasn't aware of, you know. And when you make friends, like I say, who are at that age of adulthood, they're not old, they're young adults, okay? Because they're not in their 70s, they're not in their 80s. But no matter what age you are in this world, don't let people get to you because of your age, right? You're just a human being. We're all human beings. We all go through different, negative stresses. Oh, hold on. I gotta check some. I think my dad may have come back, but I'll be right back. Hello? 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 All right, I got my phone. Hello, everyone. I'm back. I know. I don't. I know. I know. I don't have my headsets on. Um. Ah, just want to let you guys know one of my sisters, who usually sleeps here regardless, she's back. She went to visit my mom. My dad went over there to visit mom. Oh crap! I forgot I was sitting up. Ugh. Oh my god! Ugh. Ugh. Oof. Ugh. I'm gonna tell you right now. Hold ow. So, when my mom had just dementia and she was doing something that keeps her busy, you know, I thought it was bad because her foot is no good. She has problems walking. But, like, how I found out that she was already starting to get dementia was thanks to a good friend who thinks of me part of his family as a younger brother. But, like, I'm not gonna talk about the things he went through because stuff that happened. Um, I'm just gonna mention the things that I've learned since I started becoming a teenager until now, right? Before my 20s, I was terrible. Okay, guys. There was a high school before the public school, okay? And this public school, at the last minute, was no longer considered the high school for me. And, you know, there are a lot of people who would judge you by your looks, That's one thing that I've experienced with a female student who was exactly the same age as me. And I saw this teenage guy who was also the same age as me in that one high school. Um, when I confessed to one of the girls who was Spanish, Puerto Rican, and then she judged me by my looks, right? And then this guy who was boyfriend and girlfriend with this Hindu girl. It was because the reason why he said it's time for us to break up, let me just tell you right now, there's men who are this way too, but that depends on what the man is like, right? When you socialize with somebody and he tells you and he admits the truth, saying that, yeah, I broke up with my girlfriend that I had before, that I started a relationship as girlfriend and boyfriend, right? He, when I asked this Puerto Rican girl, would you be my girlfriend? She turned me down. She judged me by her looks. But then, behind this Hindu young girl, who is the same age as me also, probably like 1 year behind or 1 year above me, the guy who she was with, the other girl Puerto Rican girl, and I'm Puerto Rican, guys. So I know a thing or two about being Puerto Rican, okay? Even though I was born here in New York. So this other boy, who is also Spanish, the other girl probably asked him to break up with her behind her own back. And so I said, you know what? This might be my opportunity to try and be there for her, not as true lovers, not as true companionship. It's not just companionship. And I know I don't want to rush things like that. So I asked her if she wants to be my girlfriend. If you don't, it's okay, I understand. And she said, "Sure, I'll be your girlfriend." And I was like, I was so happy, I was so happy. But then when I went to a religion school after this public school, because in this public school, I did actually make one good friend. And when I was feeling down, I had temper tantrums, and he was there. He was there even when I was upset. He said, "Let me handle him. I'm a good friend of his." But for me, knowing he was like a best friend to me, I have disabilities, okay, and those disabilities I wasn't aware of completely. So I started a temper tantrum from triggers from a disability I wasn't aware that I had. Oh boy. And when I end up in the bus because I'm still negatively uh, triggered and tempered, because I just felt like I just felt like this school, I didn't feel like I was welcome in this school enough. And my dad told me that school is not a good decision, because just because I'm able to socialize pretty simply and easily, but it takes time for me to get close and then start talking. That's how it is with every human being in this world. And by the way, I finally got my phone. It was downstairs. See, you can learn things on the internet on your phone. You can learn the truths and the lies through any type of news resource. And the only news resource that is known to be lies after lies after lies, because they support Republicans only and white supremacists only. Oh, yeah. Some of the reporters from Fox News, they don't want nothing to do with Fox News anymore. And even if they did, even if they were working on Fox News, they can't say what they're against, because it's what Trump is trying to do, and some people may not be aware of this, is he's trying to change the whole country, making the whole country white supremacist. And so, as I was a teenager, yes, I'm changing the example now, putting a new example on top of that. And now I'm just gonna completely talk about what I fully went through. after me confessing to a Puerto Rican girl that was the same age as me and all that. I'm gonna go way above that now. So I was in a public school. I'm gonna continue this conversation and expression at all in one. As soon as I end up in the bus, the school bus, my bus pair, the way she handled things is poorly because I learned that there are some good public schools, but there are also some bad ones that the teachers don't know how to deal with young teenagers who get blamed because there was this tall teenage boy, and I don't want to mention the word black teen American because then that would mean that I'm putting a bad name in black Americans as a whole. There are some really good black Americans. There are some bad black Americans. There are some good white Americans. There are some bad white Americans. So when I look at and when I'm paying attention to politics, and some people, a lot of people think this is a lie. They mention, well, okay, I should probably explain everything that I've been through. Through the public school, I was in the school bus, and all I did was a soft kick tap on my bus parent's leg, who this bus parent is also my principal. And there was this young boy who is also considered a black American student, and we were close. We were very close as friends. But what happened was I got through a point with where I was upset. I felt hurt because the real reason why I felt hurt because this one time in that public school, like I said, I try to make friends with teenage kids. And so this one teenager was making fun of me behind my back. And I looked at him. I was listening to everything he said. So it made me upset. It made me pissed off. And so, yeah, I know you're probably thinking, dude, you're talking too much, right? And I'm still going to continue this stream as a Let's Play still. But I want to tell you guys that what we all go through is somewhat similar. It could be through school, it could be through just your neighborhood or reality in general. Anything that has to do with reality. I learned that when I was kicking this young boy who was trying to help me because we were friends, I thought of him as one of my own friends and someone who was close to me. But I was so upset to a point where even when I was in the school bus, when that big principal lady was on top of me, and as soon as I did a soft kick, not even a hard kick, and so she told the bus car Before she told the bus driver anything, she said, "Oh, I think he broke my leg." Lady, please, I did not even kick you that hard to where you'll have a broken leg. And so I was hospitalized for something I did not commit because I can't be in a prison because it's like they say, right? Even the young adults with disabilities, if you send that son of yours or even that child of yours who's around 14 or 16 years old, if you sent him to prison, he'll learn things that he's not supposed to learn. He'll pick up things in his brain that he is not supposed to pick up. Or sometimes, let me tell you something else, guys. Uh, I was upset. I threw a temper tantrum. And there were times where I'll start a fight with my dad, realizing now that I don't want to fight. And there are times where you learn the true reason why you don't want to do physical violence, even as an 18-year-old. Because when I was hospitalized, hold on, guys, let me turn the camera a little bit forward. um, Alrighty. There's a little too much light here, so I do apologize. Let me move the camera somewhat a little more, but I'll try to face it to me. So there we go. Hopefully that works. No, it's worse. Um, so I'm sorry about the light in the background. Yeah, I don't got no fancy like curtains or anything. So the light will hit me and hit the camera regardless. Let's see. Is there a way I could block it? Yeah, there we go. So I try to convince the hospital that I was hospitalized in that I wasn't, I didn't hit her that hard, kicking her in the leg that hard. I didn't kick her in the leg that hard. And I let my dad know. And then he tried to ask one of the nurses there or staff there and try to convince him my son never did nothing wrong. He just told me that he didn't even do a hard kick against the young lady who put him here. And so, like any hospital would do, is they're not going to make an excuse. They're just saying what the person has to do in order to be able for you and your father or you and your son. Let's say my father, I told him everything, but he couldn't do nothing about it because I was already hospitalized. So, in order for me to prove to them that I don't really hurt anyone, because trust me, when I was hospitalized, is there white here? Get rid of that. Um, so after I got out of the hospitalized, because I wanted to show them that I did not hurt her, I mean, who was my principal alongside as my bus pair. Um, So when I got discharged, because they'll tell you in order for your son to get out, he has to be discharged. He has to prove something. And what that something was is to prove that I'm not the most bad soul hearted person. Yeah, I'm not the best. Yeah, I'm not the greatest. I am decent. If you haven't heard one of the jokes made by Gabriel Iglesias, he explains in one of his jokes before he had severed his ways with the relationship when he was already married and he had a child. I don't know that. Oh yeah, he had a son, and so when when the whole situation when they broke up, it was because Gabriel Iglesias would have wanted to love her to be part of the show, and some of what he says in a lot of his jokes, they're mostly serious. They're mostly jokes based off of what goes on that is mostly funny through what he experiences. But for me, it's a whole different story. And yeah, guys, I'm almost done explaining the whole thing. I just have like maybe two or three things to explain. As soon as I go to high school, a different one, which was known as St. Martin de Porres, I learned that this school cares about their students more than an actual public school. And St. Martin de Porres isn't just a school for kids with disabilities, it's also a school that handles normal average students who are not autistic, but they support both kids, either kids with disabilities or kids with non-disabilities. They were basically a religious school. And when one of the teachers, because I overslept and I didn't want to wake up, one of the teachers came straight to my house, to my mom and dad's house, which is this house. The whole. As a whole, this house is their house. But when that one teacher came to pick me up and he said, "Hey, hey, hey, wake up, John, wake up." I'm like, okay. And so I got ready, I got dressed. The first thing he asked me, because this is when I know he cares about his students better than a public school sometimes usually would. And when he was taking me on our way and on my way to St. Martin de Porres, the school itself, before we were heading there, the first thing he asked me was something really, really generous, you know, something that I could never pay him back and show him the appreciation, how much I appreciated what he did for me. He asked me, "Did you have any breakfast?" I said, "No, I didn't have any breakfast. I was still asleep." And so he offered to get me a small breakfast burrito. And I was like, oh, you don't have to. I can always rely on lunch. And he said, no, you have to have breakfast because breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You know, when you start off your day early in the morning, you're supposed to have breakfast. I mean, and let's just say I saw two boys because when I was still going through school bus and on my way into the school entrance, the back school entrance, of course, there were two boys. One boy who was on this side, the other boy who was on this side, you know? They're near each other, they're talking. And this young teenage boy had a bag of condoms, okay? And so he was like, oh, I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna get me some pussy. That's what he says. And then I'm like, I'm thinking in my head. I don't say nothing out loud. I'm just listening to everything they say. I'm like, it's like I'm on full incognito mode, okay, guys? I am just like a spy or like a detective or something. So I knew something bad was gonna happen. I knew what he was saying is what he was gonna do. So a few minutes later, because as I was leaving the detention, you know, in the principal's office, I suddenly see two teachers, okay? And this girl is coming towards them. And she expressed what she went through because I knew who it was. When you hear one teenage student who is actually kind of young still, and he says, oh, I'm gonna give me some pussy, right? And let me tell something. When you say the cat, is how I would like to say it, to censor some of that language. I don't want to always rely on the full word. You know, because I already know what it means. But I know there's also other ways to make it sound less sexual. See, when people talk about a female's bottom, they don't actually say the name of what it is. Unless they're like confident saying it and them thinking saying it won't get them into trouble. So when this girl was coming down the hallway, she was in tears. What was that cause? Rape, abuse by another young student. You know what the thing is? He's lucky he was using safety. But here's the problem. Condoms don't really 100% protect you from getting another girl pregnant. So when the two teachers were talking to her, and I was right in front of those teachers, guys, I told them what was the reason that I saw one boy with a bag of condoms. I told the teachers that. And so this boy wasn't aware that I knew what he was saying. He wasn't paying no mind to me. He was just so focused on his own pleasures of sexual pleasures. See, if you're gonna try to bring yourself to enjoy, but the girl is not enjoying it. You know, you don't want to bring a crime towards yourself, because whenever you do something to a fellow student, if she's a girl who is the same age as you and me, it's like, dude, you just committed rape. And she never asked for that. And so, yeah, those teachers were like, when I told them what I saw a boy with a bag of condoms, and I told the teachers, the first thing they started off with was, mind your own business, go to school, go to your class. And so I'm walking my way to class, but before I even get the chance to reach further, and I'm still near them, I'm like, what? Because they said, one of the teachers told the other teachers, go find this boy who he was talking about and where check every classroom to find this boy's bag. And then the next thing you know, cops are already there. The teachers has already found him out. And and I wasn't even reacting or respond. Well, I was somewhat reacting because they weren't aware of my reaction. Okay? Some teenagers don't think other teenagers are listening to what they're gonna do. You know? Because there are some good teenage students, but there are some bad teenage students. Just how, like, you would say, there are some bad people in this world and some good people in this world. When that guy, when that young little fellow, when I saw the police dragging his ass out, I was like, oh, they found him. See, it's all about staying quiet. Because if you hear what they're gonna do, oh, they won't be too happy. Trust me. And they won't like me either. But like, I don't care whether they like me or not. I just care about reminding them that what they're doing is wrong. Because I've been there. I've been doing wrong my whole life. But I have never committed sexual abuse or rape. Okay, guys? That's how less of a problem my history is of my health care. Um, so yeah, and I'm gonna start off now. And I'm probably also gonna speak some extra stuff, a little bit of extra stuff. So, of course, by the way, welcome to part 2 of the Let's Play of Warriors Orochi. I I started a Let's Play from part 1, but in order to have done that, I had to reset individual characters, or reset all. I chose to reset all. But you still have your progression, you don't lose any of your progression. You're just losing your progress with your levels of your characters. So, while I'm playing this, starting the Let's Play, before I start bringing a lot of the positives, I just want to say I learned somewhat on how life is like. So, see, what I'm going to do first is I'm probably going to grind a little bit of Malevolent Star. Not this one, because this one right here gives more experience, growth points than these. Because the more harder the chapter is, even though this is easy, even though it's recommended for level 4s, I can still use this thing right here, this quest, to level up my characters further by getting more growth points. But I did say I was going to continue the chapter, so we're going to do chapter 2, mission number 1. And this one, as you progress in chapters, the more growth points you would earn. So right down there where it says defeat these 2 enemies within 10 minutes. And then the other one, defeat Kai and Kotaro Fuma within 5 minutes. As long as you're able to get at least 2 tasks done, depending on your rank. Oh, we don't have to worry about this. Okay, here's this thing we want. I'm gonna put it auto.
我らはまだ状況もつかみきれておらぬ。信玄殿に軍略を仰ぎながら対処しよう。雪村、お前をこんなところで散らせはせん。待っていてくれ。
Nobunaga Oda. This is the guy we're gonna have to fight, guys. And let me just tell you, right now, this one cinematic when you're heading towards Nobunaga Oda, if you think about it, all these different warriors, like Nobunaga Oda, Lu Bu, those 2 people as characters in this game, in reality, yeah, they're normal people. They're just normal warriors. You know, one who was not considered a warrior, he was serving His Majesty, right? That was Lu Bu. Nobunaga Oda, because the history of China and Japan, I learned so much of how dark that their history was. That I figured out, I learned that Lu Bu, the reason why they called him the Lord of Demons or whatever, the only reason why they used to call him that, see, the history where they call him, hold on, let me lower somewhat the volume. I feel like, yeah, voice, that's why. Alrighty, exit that. So, how did Lu Bu became who he was? Because all it was just a title or something like that. He tried to intimidate his own people and other people around different areas in China. And how it all started was he killed his own emperor. And if I remember correctly, it was due to him poisoning that emperor who he was actually serving. In reality, he's not really a muscular dude. He's just a normal, skinny old man, you know? Hold on, I got something in mind. So, okay. First thing foremost, I have to focus in this general. No, not captain first. General. Hehehehe. No, no, no. Dang it, no. Here's my best move, guys. Here's my best move right here. This is the move I like because it allows me to defeat enemies so dang fast. There are times where that I usually try to learn the history of some of the warriors that this game take inspiration from. And yeah, it's like I even learned what Trump was trying to do, that this is not supposed to exist. He's trying to bring back the past where kings exist. Not leaders, not presidents. So, so, and the other thing is, I don't know if I don't think I mentioned this at all. Oh, there's one of the big guys. He's down here. Can I even go there? Yes, I can. So I'm trying to head my way all the way down there. I'm not aware. I don't know if I can actually go there because it's been a while since I played the second chapter with the first mission. So I have to go through here. Oh crap! What did I do? Okay. So I have to go here. Yeah, there's some generals, and some of them are mostly just important characters to take care of. Oh yeah, I made a mistake to come this way. So I have to go all the way as fast as I can to the side on the top. And I can work my way by defeating some of these base captains. Okay guys, this is something that is how strategy works. I didn't know how intelligent real ninja were. And just letting you guys know, I know that real ninjas don't use actual chakra flow, okay? They're tools. And chakra, the meaning is just mastering and harnessing the knowledge of nature and survival, right? Whoa, not you. This guy over here. This guy is one of the important generals to the main bad guy. Take this! Kill, get out of my way, get out of my way, get out of my way, get out of my way. I'm just heading towards the direction where you see those two dots are glowing. I'm not gonna worry about those other generals. I am going to focus on those real captains, not generals. Now he's defeated. And now, these dark enemies. Where is that, here we go. Yeah! And now, I have to go up here, of course. I don't know why, my eyes seem to be hurting me. What I might do is, I might take some Advil, 2 tablets, Oh, he's down there. Alrighty. Ah, here's one of the generals who returned. She's a female. And now, they can handle that on their own. I'm just gonna continue heading towards the direction one of the boss fights are. There are some mini bosses. Ah, okay, now I'm forced to go completely down there. But of course, I have to get rid of the Chaos Origins, of course. It's a good thing that this is where I needed to go to begin with, so... Keep going, keep going. Let me use this female. This way I could get there a little faster. Yeah, of course, guys, just letting you know, she has the same ability as that other guy. Oh, shoot. There has to be... Ah! I think this is the last person I have to defeat. Alrighty, here we go. Our path is unlocked. There'll be a cutscene. I shall show. Hold on, guys. Enjoy the cutscene. I'm gonna get me to actually real quick.
ってみせるわ。
私の命はここでついえるか。
私が折れてどうする。
合力戦。
いけません。助けようか。
雪村を援護できずに引くことになるとは。
And that's when I said, okay, I'm not going to bother with that. I'm going back. I'm going to Fionavi's house. Forget looking for piano. Forget trying to hang out with piano. Going the other direction. But by the time I come back, you're gonna love this thing. By the time I get back to Fionavi's house, guess who else is back? Piano. I'm going on my way back, and then I see Piano already there. I'm like, hey, Piano, I was trying to hang out with you, spend time going along with you guys. But neither did I realize, because they're traveling with bicycles, I'm like, oh, maybe it wasn't the best idea. I'm like, no more, never again. But I miss hanging out with Piano and Jesse, even Derek, because when I heard Derek visited my mom in the nursing home, Angel's son, I was like, oh, all right. But when I heard that Derek was there, I was like, he's a good cousin, man. Forget the bad things I say about him. Just because he has a different political opinion, don't make him a bad guy. But he's a good cousin. Maybe I'll. Oh, I didn't pause it. Yikes. Sorry, everybody. I have. I have a confession to make. I screwed myself over. So retry from checkpoint.
助けようか。
Hey, people, do not attack me. Wait a minute, is there still... Oh yeah, there's no usually timers, aren't there? Uh-huh. So I pressed to get to the checkpoint. Oh, okay, it did. It did send me back to that checkpoint already. Nice. So I can still fight the Nobunaga Oda. Hello. I am heading there. Nobunaga Oda. I shall defeat you. You don't stand a chance against me. I may have went down, but that's only because I was distracted. I was not using my full power. And now you will experience my full power. Last general. Man, am I glad they let you start off to where you had your progress in. Here you go, cutscene again. I actually like this cutscene. I know I'd already played during the Let's Play and I died, but I wanna re-experience it. Hold on, let me check some real quick. Yeah, one of my friends is taking it pretty hard. I can't mention this situation, guys. But like, he's a good father, you know? Ow! Nobunaga. Yeah. Bang! Warrior! Ora! You're messing with me, huh? Oh, shoot. Did I forget I had to face one last boss right here? Or no. Actually, victory. Whew! Let's see. It don't really matter too much with the subtitles. We'll just record the cutscene cinematics. This we're gonna let go. Hey, that's not a lot like the other one, but it's still pretty good amount of growth points, man. Oh, did I get some new gear type? Oh snap, please tell me. Yes! I have a spear that is so good for me right now. Not really all that great. This one is decent. I just realized I have to equip some stuff with my characters that I never did. Who is that guy? So this I won't really keep because I'm not using the character that used that weapon. So I'll just sell it. It sells for a nifty price, 210 gems. But this one, alongside this weapon, even though it's blue, it's a little better than what my character, her, as a character already has. It's better than what she has. See this one would be, no, this one right here would be good to dismantle because the passives. And none of these here have any passives. Even this one don't have any passives. But you can add those passives to your powerful weapon. So you see, I would add. I don't know if this will accept adding slots, which maybe it will, maybe it won't. I'm gonna face the camera this way instead of having some of that light hitting. So this way you can get a good glimpse of my reaction. Okay, guys? Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm gonna make it a little bit more easier to see me. A little bit easier. Because it's a little too see-through. Capture and broadcast. Okay, capture. Is it through this? No, it's through broadcast settings. Camera. I believe it's transparency. Yeah, I have to lower a little bit of the transparency. Put that there. Contrast, you want to have that a little bit bright, not too bright. Um, uh, this is fine enough as it is. Gonna put a little bit of transparency and see how it turns out. Alrighty, go back here. Uh, needs a little more seeing. It needs. I don't know if you guys are aware. Do you think if anybody who's in this stream right now can see me a little bit better, let me know. If not, I am willing to lower the transparency a little more. And you know what? I'm just going to lower the transparency a little more because I feel like it's not enough of a view of me through the webcam in the live stream. So, let's see here. Yeah, gotta lower that transparency. Alright, let's see how it works now. Hey, it's somewhat better. I can still see some of the stuff in the back. Alright. Uh, if I do need to put one more point to increase the transparency, just one more time, I'll know eventually. If I have trouble seeing the other stuff in the background. Because if I remember correctly, I think the map shows on that side, but that side I could be wrong about. Who knows? I forgot where the map is usually on what side. But that don't really matter. Let's see. Oh boy. Who we have 15,000 growth points. I think it's about that time. So okay. His level is 9. My other two characters are 7. But what we can do is we can level him up 1 or 2 times. There. That's okay. Confirm. I want him to be at least at a decent level to handle the fights. And yeah, I know those level of the areas is like level 6. But let me just tell you right now, guys. I have a feeling, not a hunch, a feeling that I could end up struggling with the last fight. Um, because that's mostly how your typical Japanese action RPGs are usually like. And so, level up 1, 2, 3. She is now a decent level as it is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start equipping these 3 characters. Alrighty. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. That's fine enough as it is. So while I'm saving the leftover points, it's so that way, let's say if I do some growth power farming, then yeah. And now we got 3 skill points. We're gonna increase her thing here. But in order to do so, we need to do this. And we have to waste our last points to increase a little bit of that defense. And by the way, there is a way to max out the character stats if people are not aware of. See, I'm not using her yet, even though she's supposed to be the main one that I'm supposed to be using. Sorcery? Is she actually considered sorcery? I don't think it is. So I would just go with all this training 3 and training 4 and training 5 first. And then I'll go with this one, this one, this one. Because this one will increase all 3 stats. And then the one down here will also... Oh, this one's a little bit different. So it increases your movement speed, temporarily increases when performing a somersault, meaning like she flips, with health close to death. So if my health is low, this will make it more easier to performing somersaults and makes it easier to get away. And I don't want to use something that I don't know if she's based off of sorcery. I know she's based off of physical combat, so I'll wait until I get all these other ones here and then go to this one here. Alrighty. Did I do her skill tree right? Yes, I did. Alright. What I'm gonna do next is the most important thing. Weapons. So the one on top is equipping. So, this one is better than what I have. And they're both the same thing. So, so I would switch. And with this one, I would make sure to dismantle later on. Fuse weapons. Okay, guys. When you fuse your weapons, you're not really fusing your weapons. Are you fusing your weapons? Okay, I guess you... Oh, no, you're not. Okay. You're just fusing the passives. So with this one, Diligence increases your EXP acquisition rate, meaning it will level up your character faster. So I'm gonna put that there. I believe that's done. Now, I will most definitely add a third socket. And now, reach increases damage range. We're not after that. Increase damage. No. 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 I feel like this one would be good, but let's see. Increase drop probability for more powerful weapons. Oh, yeah. I gotta get some more appraisals up there. So this way I could farm better gear than what I have. Ready for the third one. Increase weapon capability compatibility improvement rate. That I'm gonna max out for sure. And ah crap. Diligence max out. Appraisal. Put as many points I can there. I have to add another slot back in there. Diligence, appraisal. Ah. Alrighty, and there we go. Accepted. Okay, now those passives are on my best weapon. With the other stuff, like this one I could dismantle, or if I wanted to, I could choose to sell, but I'm gonna dismantle this 24 attack power gear. And this one's the one I have mainly. I'll sell that, sell that, sell that, sell that. And boom. Oh yeah, that's right. This female character here will get equipped with that weapon. And I'm gonna have to salvage a few of this gear. Destruction, I'll salvage that. Wind, I'll probably salvage that too. No. Okay, go here, go there. And now. Dismantle, 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 dismantle. Sell, dismantle. Now her, these weapons don't even matter to her. Wait a minute, is this the one I got equipped? Hold on, hold on. Let me lower the transparency of my camera a little bit. I mean, not high, not lower. I mean higher. And okay, so okay, I do have this one equipped. So I would put in Heavenly Love Flame. Wait, no. I have to go to equipment. Equip that. And the rest, actually, no. Holy crap. Okay, well, keep this one. This one has the better stats, even though this one is Holy Love. It is known as Holy Love of Flames. But what I'll do is I'll d- dismantle the one in the bottom called Heavenly Love Flame to increase Heavenly Love. And now, fuse weapon. Fuse weapon. I'll go here, then go there. I ain't worried about her. So, case. Put there. Max out Flame. Now it's known as Holy Love of Flame. Just like the other one was. And then boom. Add a socket, and boom. Alrighty. Now, let's see. Yeah, we're gonna improve this on maximum. And let's see, what else? Okay, this is what we need to max out. Renders enemies unable to block attack and follow up with a wind attack. This is good. This is good. This is good. Okay. She's set up. Alrighty. Oof. I don't know. I might be tired. I don't know. I feel my eyes are in pain. But usually when your eyes are in pain, it can mean either one of the few things. I have a feeling it's because I'm probably tired. Alright. Oof. Let's see. Yeah, I need a lot of gems to try and get some of these upgraded. This one requires 10,000 of the gems. But what I would go for is mostly increase health, mission guide, recovery speed of standard standby officers, meaning the officers that are on my side. And this one it increases the health gauge capacity, meaning my bar of health will be bigger. Let's see. I want to see if there's another one that here's another one I need. So okay, let's continue. Oh, I'm forgetting my officers. Okay. First you go here, and let's see. Yes, guys, all the characters that are gonna be my ally that I put in are gonna be female waifu characters, man. What's the matter with that, right? Oof. Okay. This guy's level 11. These two female ladies are level 10. Alrighty. Oh. Okay. See, I know after I finish this one because these are The rest of them are going to be level 8. So these 1, 2, and 3 are going to be level 6. So there's 3 level 6 main quests. And I know in order for me to get to this one done, I will most definitely have to level up my characters a little bit more if I'm not able to defeat it. So, if I remember correctly, I already defeated Nobunaga Oda. So now we're gonna do the quest, the rescue of Yusagi, or whatever. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna turn off my camera.
だが謎も混迷も深まる一方だった。織田信長が得た凄まじい力、ペルセウスと名乗った信長を追う青年、そして時折よぎる知らぬはずの記憶。反乱軍の面々は思い思いに考えを巡らす。だが彼らに立ち止まっているいとまはなかった。前線騎士を守る綾御前と上杉景勝から救援要請が届いたのである。
敵の数これほどと。織田軍にだがひるむわけにはい。敵の数が尋常ではない。急がない。景勝様、しばしお待ちを。この金継ぎが直ちにお救いいたします。
結局私でしょ。
我らが引き受けよう。南の敵は本陣。敵の動きを見極めつつ進んでくれ。ここで倒す。いけません。
参りましょう。結局私でしょ。
平八これにあり。はっとせいこうやった我が民事の記憶に留めろ。
私の手でお救いする。金継ぐ雪村救援。
参りましょう。結局私でしょ。金勝つ。あと少し耐え抜きましょう。
本人は何としても守りきるぞ。敵の増援にも注意せよ。敵将、そこを動くぞ。勝ったと思うなよ。我が前に立つ。
行くわよ。行くわよ。
雪村、感服いたします。ありがたい。ここは通さぬ。道を開ける。
行くわよ。窮地を脱しました。次はこちらがお返しをする番。
勝負の棋風示さん。数では勝っていたが爪が甘かったか。ならば拙者自ら当たるのみ。平八これにあり。
結局私でしょ。
拙者の部で眼前の敵を蹴散らさん。
敵はまた城を狙ってくるでしょう。皆愛を持って当たりなさい。
所詮敵は小勢だ。城を落としてしまえ。
またうろたえ者が現れましたね。しつけてあげましょう。あの城好き、そして対決。行くわよ。行くわよ。顔に険しいのに。
まだ未熟だったか。遅くなってすまない。上皇殿、あとは俺たちに任せてくれ。大使寺殿、すまぬ。頼んだぞ。上皇殿を追い詰めて敵軍の勢い侮れんな。
敵の大将が出てきたようですね。 してあげましょう。
大使陣この世界。よし、私が話をしてみよう。金継ぎ、手薄になる本陣の防衛に回ってくれ。承知した。ルイの輩は一匹たりとも近づけん。
孫権という方はよく戦況を見ていますね。見習わなければなりません。神風。
頼もしき同志を得て私は幸せだ。敵の城攻めはまだ続く。油断できぬ。あの程度の数で城は守れまい。さっさと制圧するぞ。もう遅れは取らん。負けても致し方あるまい。
おかげで助かりました。
俺は執着。
これも愛の絵ですね。
Hey guys, I think I'm gonna try to take a nap, a short nap. And before I start another stream, I'm probably gonna check up with my dad and try to see if I can say to my mom hi. Alright guys, I'm gonna take a short nap. See you in the next stream. Sorry if I didn't do enough. I just... Oof. Alright guys.